Hey Patriots, how you doing today? My name is John Dady. I'm your host. Just want to talk about something very important, like the indictment of former President Trump over him possessing classified documents, which he had every right to do, and he's maintained that he declassified them to begin with. Even if he didn't, let's see, Obama's had the same issue, still does. Every president since Reagan has had this issue. It's not like an outgoing president packs up his own boxes. It's just if you think that, well, you know, it's done for him. Anyways, this is always this back and forth. Now, let's talk about somebody who has zero legal right to have any documents, classified documents, in their possession. That'd be anybody but a president, including our current president, Joe Biden, who, as a senator and a vice president, apparently has about 1,800 boxes of classified material. He was never entitled to them under any circumstances, ever. Yet, there it is. Um, a lot of those boxes of classified material was found in a closet at the Penn Biden Center. Now, for those of you who don't know, Penn Biden Center is funded largely by the Chinese Communist Party. Biden's been a no-show professor there, gets paid. Other documents have been found, of course, in his garage, and it's his Corvette, that he's so proud of, apparently. In a garage, in a box. We've all seen the pictures and videos of it. Would you consider that secure? No. And apparently someplace in Chinatown, I forget what city, New York or DC, I forget which one. And then in another location in DC. So he has unsecured classified documents that he never had any legal right to at all, scattered in at least 4 locations that we know about. What's being done to him? Well, absolutely nothing, of course. Who's had access to those completely unsecured files? Now, Trump's files were secured. He'd already talked to the officials. I put another lock on it, so they did. Mar-a-Lago is very secure in its own right. Plus, of course, Trump has Secret Service protection. Nobody had access to those. China didn't have access to them. You can bet your bottom dollar that China had access to the documents at the Penn Biden Center. So nothing's being done about that. They just like, oh, okay, that's fine. Nothing to see here. No, that's not fine. Then on the very day that some of our representatives got to see in the skiff the information about Biden being trapped, being caught up in a bribery scheme, accepting apparently 2 $5 million bribes from Ukraine. Wow. Then they come out with the Trump indictment, 37 counts, including espionage. Really? Wow. Espionage is a hard word. Prove it. Now, I think we can pretty much prove that Biden is a traitor, a spy. He is compromised by God only knows how many countries. Ukraine for sure, China for sure, probably Russia as well. Who knows? But they like to talk about existential dangers to our democracy, even though we are a republic. Joe Biden and his thuggery administration is that threat to our republic, to our freedoms, to our very existence. I don't know how many people signed in yet. I really didn't wait. I just hit the live broadcast. Anyway, so that's what we're talking about today, is that the FBI is interfering with this election again, just like it did in 2016, just like they did in 2020, and they're doing it again now. We have fallen into clearly banana republic territory where our leaders try to gel or worse their competition. This is exactly what they're doing. They know they can't beat Trump at the polls, that they're cheat level would have to be expanded exponentially this next time around. There's only so much cheating you can do before it becomes obvious. Well, actually, that happened in 2020, but people looked the other way. Still looking the other way. Now, I know this is getting me banned off of a lot of places, but if you can't speak the truth, see, there's the problem here in this country. Those of us who have very strong opinions and have evidence to back it up, go look at what I'm saying to you. This this is not a crime for a former president to have these documents. Presidents clear back to Reagan's had the same issues. Biden has worse issues because he's never allowed to have them anyway because he's never president. Why hasn't he been impeached for that? Let alone his other crimes against the country, deliberately, willfully allowing an invasion of our country. He is charged with constitutional duties to protect our country from invasion. Instead, he's not only allowing it, he's promoting it. So, any of you social media outlets that care to challenge me on that, bring it on. Our border is not secure, and he is charged under the Constitution to ensure that this country is protected from invasion. He has not done that. So, a lot going on. What I don't see or hear going on is our Patriots uniting under one banner with one common cause, and that's to stop the Democrat Party. Don't see that happening. I hear excuses why you can't. No, I got to go to a job. I got to keep my job, blah, blah, blah. And you think if full-out communism arrives in this country because you were worried about your job, that you're actually going to have a job to worry about then? Guess what? Most of you won't have. Communism destroys the economy of a country, puts tens of millions of people into bread lines, and worse. 100 million people were killed in communist regimes in the last century. 100 million people. I'm sure they don't tell you that in school anymore, nor have you taken it upon yourselves to teach yourselves. So these are the things that I'm concerned about. Where are our patriots? I've come up with a new acronym. I think we all know what a rhino is, a Republican in name only. Now I've got Pino. A Pino is a patriot in name only. That's all I'm seeing out there. Yeah, some of you go to rallies and you go to a meeting and blah, blah, blah. Maybe you even vote once in a while. That doesn't make you a patriot. Patriots, they're busy 24/7, 365 working to protect this country from enemies, foreign or domestic. Right now, our enemies are domestic. What are we doing? Nothing. We have the might, legally, economically, to shut them down. Yes, great. You Target and Bud and Kohl's, maybe Chick-fil-A now. That's great. That's wonderful. If we can't multitask as a country of 330 million people, what the hell are we even doing? If you can only focus on one thing. Is the whole damn country suffering from ADD? So these companies that you're targeting for their poor behavior, that's one thing, but they don't set policy. They don't promote policy. You know who promotes the policy and promotes lies and deviancy? The mainstream media. Our media is owned by a handful of conglomerates that a lot of you send money to every month in the form of your subscription payments to your cable and satellite providers. That's horrible. So the very companies that exist to destroy us, to lies for the communists, lies about everybody else, threatens anybody who disagrees with them, cancels them, or worse, you send money to them every single month. Millions of you do. I don't understand that. I cut the cord a long time ago. About 3 years ago, I canceled AT&T cell phone service that I'd had for 20 years because they bought CNN. And I gave them about 6 months or so after they bought it. It says, okay, they could either reform it or close it down. They did neither. Eventually, they did sell it, but you know what? I canceled my subscription to AT&T because of what they did. They're showing to me they don't have my values, they don't have my interest in mind at all by buying this network and doing nothing to reform it. Or the best thing would have been to do shut it down. So whenever I can not do business with people who stand opposed to my values and my principles, I don't do it. I cut them out of my life. You all need to do the same thing. Um, and I've talked to so many people. So, well, John, I can't cut my cable or satellite because I need my sports network over here. How pathetic. How selfish. And you call yourself a patriot? Please. Do you think if we go full out communist, that we're going to have sports leagues? No. Even if we didn't, follow me here. The Green New Deal psychos, it will come to a point, communism or not, where they say, you know what? We're going to outlaw massive gatherings of people, such as at football stadiums and baseball stadiums. Soccer's, nobody shows up anyways. Don't care. So, I know some of you soccer lovers are going to be pissed off at me, but you don't have crowds of 80,000 people showing up in a stadium in this country like NFL does. You don't have crowds of 40,000 or 30,000 showing up like baseball does. They will shut those sports down saying, well, all you people driving over there, you're killing the planet with your cars and you're using too many resources. And it's just, you know what? We're going to stop it. We're going to end these activities to save the planet. Trust me, that's on their radar. They will do that, and you will let them. Because so many of you believe that our activities are killing the planet. No, they're not. Sorry, dumped over my coffee. We're not killing the planet. We're not contributing to any of that. Now, so I know I'm covering a lot of things here. I usually do. I just go from one thing to the next, and it's up to you all to keep up or watch it again later. So, man-made global warming, there hasn't been anything to prove that it's actually happening. Our coastlines are still intact. They're not underwater the way Al Gore said they would be. None of their predictions have come true. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, some dude from the Department of Energy was being questioned by a House committee. I forget who it was, but they asked him, says, okay, if we do all of these things, spend $50 trillion like the Democrats demand that we do, to put all of this Green New Deal stuff into use, how much would that reduce the carbon created, the greenhouse gases, whatever they're calling it today, in our country? This official says, well, we create 13% of the entire world's CO2. 13%. Keep in mind, we're the largest economy. We create 13%. Should tell you something. We've been doing shit already without destroying the economy and without putting our lives at risk. So the congressman kept asking, well, how much do you expect that to go down? 5%, 2%? And he kept saying, well, we produce 13%. So finally, he was pushed to the point, he says, I don't know. So the congressman is saying, okay, so you want to spend $50 trillion to put all this into place, to put everybody's life at risk in this country, and you don't even know how much it's going to reduce, because no, I don't know. Nobody knows, because it's going to be about maybe 0.00001% possibly. Uh, think about it. We have 13% of it now in the world's largest economy. We're doing something right, folks. We're doing a lot right. You're not told that because they lie to you, and you have no intellectual curiosity. I can't even relate to that. But so I'm telling you, now you can look it up, or you can just go, oh, well, this guy's crazy, and go on your merry ass little way and head off into oblivion, because that's where this country is going. So if they're successful in implementing even half of their plan of Green New Deal energy, which is solar and wind, most of this country will no longer have clean, reliable electricity. They won't have any at all. There won't be just rolling brownouts or blackouts. There'll be permanent blackouts. We cannot generate enough electricity with wind and solar to power the country. Can't happen. Will never happen. Been running some numbers. We need what is it? 5.5 billion solar panels to power the country. That's the land. That's the area the size of Lake Michigan, which is huge. We need that many to power the country. And that's if they worked optimum every day. Got 8 hours of sunlight. There was never any obstructions. There was never any dust or anything on the solar panels, and everything was perfect. Well, hell, that's never going to happen. So, what do you got to do then? Have 10 billion, 12 billion? And then every 15 years they have to be replaced. Did you know that? Most of it's toxic. Most of them are made and controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. Windmills, you need hundreds of millions of them. Again, the wind doesn't blow all the time. So just what the hell are you going to do? Well, a lot of you will die. Without electricity, what do you have in this world? Our society can't survive without it. How are you going to have medical needs taken care of? You're not, because your hospital needs power too, right? So they're closing down. So on and so forth. It's a chain reaction of things shutting down because we don't have the power to keep things on. And the left is going to tell you, they finally will come out and tell you, the sacrifice that we need you to make to save the planet is for you to die. Your deaths will be required to save the planet. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what they're going to do. They've already been having you people drink so much Kool-Aid for so long, and I've talked to so many younger people, they're scared to death. They really think, they believe the bartender, AOC, that we have now like 8 more years. If we don't end all carbon emissions, the world's going to end. We'll be dead. These poor, dumbed down, indoctrinated people believe it. They're not having kids. They're so depressed. They're on all kinds of drugs for their anxiety and depression because they believe the lies told to them. And there's nobody telling them the truth. Their parents, sadly, most of them believe it too, because they're just as dumbed down and as indoctrinated as their kids are, because it's been going on for decades. Now, if you find offensive this, what I'm saying, that's on you. That's not on me. If I'm saying some things and you feel like, well, you should have already known that, you're right. You should have. Because if a no account loser like myself knows these things, I expect everyone, and my ex used to say, well, you can't expect that. I says, yes, I can. I expect everyone who holds themselves up and out to be superior to me to know these things. If I know them, why don't you? You have no excuse not to know the very same stuff that I do. Oh, but John, I'm busy with kids and work. Well, hell, aren't we all? I don't have any kids, but my ex had 7. that I raised like my own for 10 damn years. So yeah, I've been there, and I've been there to 90 hours a week and the whole 9 yards, but I still took the time to learn, to participate, to be involved. If I can do it, and I did do it, none of you have an excuse why you can't do it. No legitimate excuse. So don't hit me with this stuff. Well, I'm busy. I got a job. I got kids. I don't care. Been there, done that. And I still took time to learn. When I hear our so-called patriots make these excuses, it just chaps my hide on multiple levels. That's why I came up with the Patriots in name only. Now we are under assault by our government. Our president to be, if they allow it, which they won't, that's another subject, is under attack. We are under attack. Have any of you people asked yourself, what are we going to do if they take out Trump? Literally take him out. Who else are you going to look for a savior? DeSantis, great governor. But let me tell you something how this works, folks. Let's say they take out Trump one way or the other. Clearly, the rest of the Republican field is going to say, okay, message received loud and clear. Intimidation, folks. Biggest thing they're afraid of is if our people ever grew a spine, develop courage, and exercise their authority over their government. It's our government. We can withdraw our consent to those we elect any day of the week. God knows they've given us plenty of legitimate reasons to fire them tomorrow. We have that authority. You don't have to wait till damn election day. You also dial up Tulsi Gabbard. She's been saying the same thing for the last few years, just as I have been. We have the power. Our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence grants us that power. Our founding fathers told us exactly what to do should tyranny come calling. Nowhere did they say bend over and grab your ankles. No, never. But this is what you're doing by remaining silent. That's consent. We have the legal authority over our government, number one. Number two, our economic might, when combined and targeted by the tens of millions in one direction, would overwhelm our enemies. That's what I've been advocating for the longest time. Not just a few people here and there are canceling those subscriptions, but I got this fantasy of July 4th of this year. We get everybody who claims to be a patriot, the 74 million Trump supporters who claim to be a patriot. Well, I've developed this thing. It's called the Lazy Patriots Way to Defeat Tyranny. You don't have to march. You don't have to make any clever signs. Don't have to go to any meetings. You set your lazy ass down in your favorite chair. You log in on your device and you cancel those services. Yeah. And we do this all within a matter of a couple days. We can, should, and must do this. It's really easy. No excuse. Zero. Well, John, I'm busy that day. Oh, really? You don't have 10 or 15 minutes to do this. Because if you really don't, and we lose this country to communism, every one of you who sat back and did nothing, you deserve what they're going to do to you. You really do. I hate to say that, but you deserve it. I know a little bit about evil. I was raised by it. People who know me, yeah, they know. And because I was raised by evil, I know evil. I know how to fight it. I know how to really get under its skin and to the point they leave you the hell alone. And it can be done. And yes, we know that God wins in the end. We get that. I'm right there with you. We know he does. We don't know when, do we? Nope. There's anywhere in the Bible that says, well, Folks, you don't need to do anything to stand up against evil until God gets back, because I win in the end. You're not going to find anything in the Bible that says, folks, you don't have to do anything. I'll take care of it later. No. In fact, I think the opposite is true. I firmly believe that God really wants us to show our love for Him by actually standing up against this shared enemy called Satan. It'd be like a proud father when, hey, look at my kids are fighting this bully. No, we're not doing that. We're just sitting back and, well, God wins in the end. I'll just pray and hide. No. I'm pretty sure that's not a winning strategy, folks. I can promise you that's not a winning strategy. Would you, if your child, would you be proud of your child from hiding from the bullies and praying that somebody takes care of that bully for him or her instead of dealing with it themselves, or creating support from others to deal with them collectively to stop the bully? What would make you more proud as a parent? The chicken shit kid hiding under the bed, or a kid who is proactive in his or herself, either on his or own or with the help of others, to punch back and stop that bully? I can't answer that question for you, but I know how it always worked for me. So, scared people, again, it's never been a winning strategy. So, this is what we need to do. We need to focus our billions of dollars a month that we're collectively sending to these media conglomerates that own or are owned by major networks, which produce all this programming, all these news programmings, and have daily multiple news broadcasts every day, lying to half the people in this country. They're brainwashed, dumbed down, idiotic, demonic democrats. I call them democrats, and those of you who have listened, you know why. So, fight. It's really easy. Lazy Patriots way to defeat tyranny. Sit on your couch, grab your device, and between July 1st and July 4th of this year, cancel every damn one of those services. And cancel AT&T. I mean, you're never going to find a perfect company. But once we target these big ones and we have them on their knees begging for us to stop, just let them keep begging. Trust me, there will be other people with billions of dollars that says, okay, we're going to now fill that vacuum because you destroyed the AT&Ts and the Comcasts and the DirecTVs and the Dish and the Spectrums. You destroyed them. You think that anybody else is going to go spend billions of dollars to create new networks, new systems that we just bankrupted, and then do the same bullshit? Of course not. Because once you all stand up and exercise your might, they're not going to do it again. Because you'll do the same thing to them that you just did to their predecessors. But y'all don't think that way for some reason. Most people I know have this negative, self-defeatist attitude. I just don't get it. I'm one person. If I could just do that and take care of it myself, I would. But I can't. Trump cannot do it by himself either. He looks around, he doesn't see anybody behind him. He really doesn't. Yeah, he has his rallies and a lot of people turn up. That's one thing. But where are his people going to be on Tuesday when he has to turn himself in for a federal indictment that's bullshit? Where are his millions of supporters going to be then? Granted, they all can't be there, but there should be a sizable chunk there. And there should be millions of us online, like at sites like mine and others, in solidarity with this man, for what they're putting not only him through, but our country through. Only a few minutes of your time. Again, it doesn't require you to go out and march in the street or make any funny, clever signs. It requires you to sign in to Patriots Unite with me, or Bongino, or Levin, or your local stations, 93.3 here in St. Louis. We got a great lineup on that station. I have a show on there with co-hosts on the show every Sunday between 1 and 2 on 93.3 Real Talk. We're out there. We need our patriots to join up. Not just on election day, not just at a rally. Satan, our enemy, he never takes a day off, does he? Nope. So why are you? Why are you sitting back? You got to ask yourself, why are you doing nothing to actively protect our country? Not just for yourselves, you're doing it for your children, your grandchildren, etc. We're the most powerful people on this planet because of our form of government. And you all act like you're whip pups. That's embarrassing. I wish Trump would issue a call to action to his supporters and suggest the same thing I'm just suggesting. That's the most powerful way to get to them and just take them down so quick. They'd never expect it. They'd never see it coming. And they would have no way to stop it. I wish he would do that. But I know enough about the Republican mentality that they firmly believe that the people will figure it out and then they'll do something. I've heard that hundreds of times from Republican elected officials and party members, and you name it, hundreds of times in my lifetime. I keep saying they're not going to do that. You all need to lead by example. You need to rally the troops. No, I wish Trump would do it. You got to ask yourselves, what if Trump had a rallying call similar to what I've been making? Would you do it then? Or would you still go, nah, that's stupid, it won't work. Or, well, I don't have 15 minutes, I'm not going to do that. Or, I don't want to lose my sports package. Or, my favorite shows on this network, and I don't watch your other deviant stuff. Doesn't matter whether you watch your other deviant programming or not, because you're funding it. Part of your subscription money goes to those shows as a carriage fee. And so one way or the other, as long as you're sending a check, you're supporting it. So how bad do you want your freedoms? How bad do you want to keep them? I mean, that's an individual choice, I suppose. But me, it's like without freedoms, what do you have? Well, you have tyranny, you have misery, you have just absolute destruction. That's what socialism / communism does. It's done nothing else. And now you guys go, oh, John, you don't know what you're talking. The hell I don't. Now, let's give you a couple examples. Maybe some of you are aware that after World War II, Germany was split in half. Russia took the east side, the Allies took the west. Literally, communism on one side of the wall, free market on the other. Which side developed into a powerful economy of freedom and people and opportunity? Was it the communist side or the West free side? For those of you who don't know anything about history, which is sadly probably most of you, it was the free side that just developed and had power and freedom and happiness for its people. Since that wall came down in 1991, the former communist side of Germany has rebounded so much. It's all one country now. It's a prosperous country. It's the most prosperous country in Europe. Most of you don't know that. So you people have been told that communism is great. You've been lied to, and it's time that you start figuring it out, and I'm trying to help you on that cause. Today, we still have North Korea and South Korea. South Korea being the free democracy, an economic powerhouse. What's North Korea? It's communism, it's pain, it's misery, it's starvation, it's despair, it's communism. Look at the satellite photo of North and South Korea at night. You'll see almost no lights coming out of North Korea. South Korea's lit up quite nicely. You should see these photos. What's that tell you? It should tell you a lot of things. See, communism doesn't work. China's form of communism is brutal, but they're using our money and the money from the world to build, the largest military the world has ever seen. That massive infusion of cash and jobs did not end communism in China. It just allowed it to expand to become the world threat that they are today, because we, not just us, but countries around the world, send our jobs over there. Our jobs, our money, our technology. Not a smart thing to do. So for those of you who think that communism is great, I gave you two really good examples. Now in our country, look at California. It might as well be communist. Wow, how's that working out? You got Illinois right over the river from me. Wow, what a miserable state. That's a communist state. New York State, communist state. They're sure as the hell not free. How are those states working out for you? Well, they're not. People are fleeing these states for Tennessee, Texas, Florida, places like that, where there's still freedom and lower taxes and you have better opportunity. Of course, I'm fearful that those people fleeing the states, they help to destroy themselves. Once they get to their new states, it'll destroy that too, because Democrats, if nothing else, they're locusts. They destroy everything they ever touch. And maybe they're the locusts of the plague of locusts mentioned in the Bible towards the end times. I don't know. Maybe the locust is a metaphor. Maybe it's not really locusts, but Democrats behaving in the same manner of locusts, destroying everything in their path, because that's exactly what they're doing. So I guess that's probably enough for right now. Hopefully y'all listen and share this. Even if you disagree, share it. Okay? We need to start having honest conversations in this country amongst ourselves. We have to start having accountability. No more excuses. No more bullshit. Well, I got this and that. I got my job. I got my kids. I got my grandkids. Nobody cares. I really don't care. Quit using them as an excuse to do nothing, and instead start using them as the reason why you should do everything to stop communism. Okay? You're thinking about it all wrong. Stop using your children and your job as an excuse to sit back and do nothing and allow tyranny to come here. Stop it. I hope y'all have a good rest of the Saturday.